Gosei Great Megazord! Why do I start these videos off by saying the name of the item? I just don't want to awkwardly start. Anyway, this is a review of the Gosei Great Megazord from Power Rangers Megaforce. Now, of course, if you're familiar with Super Sentai, you will know that Gosei Great Megazord takes its name directly from Gosei Great, which is a Japanese counterpart of the item in this video. And of course, as I'm talking, we'll set up the confusing bits about the little Megazord for me to have a look at and review. So let's quickly discuss how things are going to work. The things you see on your screen now on my desk at this moment are called Zords in Megaforce. And the actual Gosei machines, the other parts that attach, are called Megazords, not Megazords, Megazords. But that is really confusing. So I will be referring to these as headers, and the additional parts, these as Zords, because that's how it should have bloody been in the first damn place. And also, I will be including the bits where I attach the heads onto the Mega Blaster, which is from a previous review. So if you haven't seen that, please go and watch it if you want. And also, in this review, if there's time, I'll also be including the Sky, Land, and Sea Brothers and the combinations with Gosei Great, because I figured they're only short and there's not that much to them. It's just a bunch of headers, extra heads. So without further ado, let's review these. Now, of course, these are referred to as Zords in Megaforce, but I'll call them headers, because that's what they are, plus that's the original Gosei term. As you can see, we've got the dragon header. I believe a lot of the paint has actually found its way into this from the Japanese version, which is pretty... It's okay, considering they haven't missed out any paint on these, but to be fair, they are quite small. I don't even think any paint was missing from the Tiger, because I initially thought Tiger was looking a bit blank, but we'll get to that in a minute. Apparently, they also added some wheels onto the bottom, which, did the Japanese one have this? I don't know. There's some nice silver and gold paint being used on the dragon header, and the things that these heads do not do. They do not have opening mouths. Again, they're molded. Again, I think that the original Japanese version did have opening mouths. That's the difference. But they did keep this in for some reason. What does this achieve? It's probably similar to a Dragonoid Bakugan, if you know what I mean. Back connector. Of course, we will show off what this looks like on Gosei Blaster, Mega Blaster. So this is essentially the Mega Red, Megaforce Red's Gosei Blaster with the head on. Remove that, and we look at the shark. Again, they've put some nice silver on the shark. They've included the molded detail on the top. The teeth are missing some paint. I know that because I think the teeth would be like painted silver. That's in the eyes uses some gold paint. That's nice. I don't get this bit of silver at the front. I don't know what that's meant to be. It looks like it's got a moustache, let's be honest. And this is what it looks like when attached onto the Gosei Blaster, Mega Blaster. This is Megaforce Blue's Mega Blaster with the shark on. And then we have the snake header. Nice use, well, it's mostly all black. Again, chrome, metallic silver. In fact, metallic silver, metallic gold is used on all of these. Red for the eyes, and silver also for the fangs. So, looks a bit odd if you face it head on. Of course, we have the Gosei Blaster formation. This is Megaforce Black's Gosei Blaster. And then we have Tiger. Again, as I was surprised to learn that apparently on this particular header, there's no paint missing, I think. So this is what the original Tiger header from Gosei would have looked like. Again, there's some paint being used for the silver on the fangs as well, which is how it was in Japan. Eyebrows, and we have Gosei Blaster. This is Megaforce Yellow's Gosei Blaster. Yes, they really did make variations for all the ranges. And finally we have the Phoenix Header. Phoenix Header, yeah, it's mostly white and pink, which is with the Sing in a Gokaiger as well, Super Mega Force. Maybe they wanted to have a white ranger instead of having a pink ranger, because this color scheme is probably designed with a white ranger in mind. But I don't know, considering that technically the target demographics is like boys. I think that's why they didn't want to have a pink color scheme. But honestly, I do not care what color it is. I don't think you should too. Because I mean, I guess it's to affect sales figures, but I'm pretty sure having pink Zords would sell just as well as having white ones. Maybe they did that to appease America. I don't know. Because it's interesting to note that after 2020, which is when the Power Rangers contract ran out, there's actually been no white Zords like these. It's just they've been all pink. So again, maybe they did this to impress America a bit. I don't know. Anyway, that aside, there's some nice silver and gold on the Zord header. Of course, we have the Gosei Blaster, which is Megaforce Pink's Blaster. Now, one thing I really dislike about this particular Zord is that it has the screw hole facing you, which isn't how the other Zords go. If you have a look, you can see that the screw hole is facing the other side and not facing towards you. So the Phoenix is the only one that has this. And why can't they put the screw on the other end? They have to have it facing you. Odd. Right, so put the blaster off the side of it, and we will introduce the actual Zord components. First up, Dragon Zord. Yeah, this is the biggest. The biggest. Where, yeah, there's some paint missing for gold. But again, if you've got it in for Megazord mode, it doesn't really make much difference. They did include some gold on the wings, which is nice. Now, there is a very high amount of these header ports. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 header ports, I think, on this. Which makes it so this is technically the most customizable Zord. Again, the wings are articulated. You can move them up and down. You can move them front, back, and the new articulation that they added, believe it or not, they added some articulation that wasn't in the Japanese version. You can now move the wings like this, which they didn't do in Japan. So they added some articulation. So nice one. One of the differences I will point out is that on the Japanese version, you can see here that instead of having like a header port sticking out here, they would have it so it would be like, oh no, like a spring door system. So that if you wanted to reveal the Gosei Great Head, you just push on the panel and it would flip up. But on this version, of course, probably to save cash, they actually put it inside of the sword or the tail. And of course, this means that the tail doesn't have a header port on it because it's meant to. But what do I think of this change? It doesn't really make that much difference, but it does mean that the sword, the Megazord mode, has got this really big awkward hole in it where the head should be. I'll get to that later. And there's also quite a lot of paint missing from here as well. But again, they molded it nice. They included all the black on the edge. And again, I believe that this part should have some paint too, but yeah, I'm not sure. So the dragon head goes onto the body. This forms the Dragon Zord, or the Dragon Megazord. Okay, just forget about that. Again, there's two more things I'm going to point out here. Firstly, is that for some reason they made it so you can remove these wings as separate pieces. And these can be used as Zord builder parts, believe it or not, because they've got a connector on both sides. But you can't use this as a separate Zord builder body part, because if you try to attach a limb to these, it's not far out enough to actually keep it in place, so it keeps falling off. So I don't know why they did that. It's just funny, I suppose. Maybe they were a bit stuck for features or ideas to add. And the other thing I was going to say is that if you move the wings down here, you can attach the other heads to the wing ports, and this gives off a kind of team finisher attack style, maybe, like joint final attack. The one thing I do not like about this is because if you try to push because yeah, this looks a bit odd with all these heads being on one angle apart from the dragon when it's stretched out on the neck. And the annoying bit is if you push the dragon neck in, because it's connected to the same part as the sword, so the sword will become loose. So if I remove the sword, you can see if I pull the dragon's head out, you can see an outer and inner part of the inside part moves out. So if I press on, so for example, if I reinsert the tail here, that's odd. I do remember the tail making the neck jut out, but it's not doing it for me now when I'm trying to demonstrate it, of course. But yeah, this does remind me of some kind of very clever all-mode team attack, which is a thing I'm pretty sure I'm really surprised it didn't do, because they did do this idea with Gosei Wonder, which is where I got that idea from, and I thought, why not do it with the rest of them? Again, another complaint I've got is trying to pull this out just by the neck's really quite difficult. Of course, we will now remove these to carry on with the rest of the swords, which I can do a bit quicker than this. Sorry about that. Wings. Yeah, this is just falling out. See what I mean? Hang on, do this off screen. Good on there, lad. I'll get to you later. The next one we have is the Shark Zord, the shark header. As you can see, yeah, this looks like a shark. I am confident there's some missing paint on here, but it doesn't look like too much. They did the silver and gold nice. I'm pretty sure their fin here is meant to have some paint, but again, I'm not sure. Wheels on the bottom too. Yeah, not a bad Zord. They did include the hole for the sword in Megazord mode, so that's good. And the next one we have is the Snake Zord with the snake header. This is very long. I think it's the longest Zord I have in my collection. Yeah, it's meant to resemble a train. As you can see, there's some train detailing here. This was meant to be painted green, I think it was, but it wasn't on this version. There's some detailing on the bottom too. I don't know what that's meant to be about, like locomotive detailing, maybe? I don't know. Now, of course, they did the silver and the gold up really well. And of course, the end bit here is meant to be like a snake tail. It's meant to be like curved. But the really, really confusing bit is that if I remember correctly, it was advertised like this. Not with the tail attached, no nothing. It's just advertised like this. And that implies that they wanted this bit to be separate. But no, because this bit here forms the tail of the snake. So someone really didn't get the point in the marketing department that day. And of course, next up we have the Tiger Zord, which goes with the Tiger header. There's some mechanical designing here going on because this was meant to be an excavator. Oh, and yeah, I think the dragon was like a plane and the shark was a submarine, but you can't really tell those vehicle differences. Anyway, the Tiger, again, they've done the silver up nice. Gold's done nice too. Moulding's down to a T, I believe. This is exactly the same kind of mold. It's not on both sides, so they must be congratulated for that. Silver's done nice. not too bad if I do say so myself. There doesn't appear to be that many hollow parts, so again that's another step up from the Samurai Megazord from the previous year. And finally we have the Phoenix Zord, which goes with the Phoenix header. This is formed from in the shell, but it's from like a small jet. This is very small. It's very small for a Zord compared to the other ones. I think it's in the same scale as the Shark. Yes, it is. Again, silver's silver. The gold's done up nice. They've included some fine gold detailing here, which again they have to be very precise to do. There's no thing to make up for the money spent on these. There's no paint under here, which is fine, because if it's a Megazord mode, they're going to be hidden anyway. Silver's done up nice here. It's actually done all the way around. It's not like being cut off at the bottom like the Samurai Megazord was. Again, very nice. So now it's time to do Megazord mode. And to start, we need to bring Snake and Tiger. Snake's tail, what we do is we move this around here so that it looks more like a pair of legs with one connector facing us. Then we attach the tiger to that connector. There we go. And move up the heads. So now it becomes a pair of legs. And this is where things can get pretty weird, because if you look, dragon's quite big. It's not gonna work. So move off the side legs, and I'll do this separate. What we do for the dragon is that first off we move the light up a bit more because it's not shining enough. For the dragon, what we do is we remove the tail of the dragon, which I got pretty tight. So give me a sec. There we go. Really wish I didn't have to make it that tight. This is the dragon tail, otherwise known as the dragon sword. Megazord sword. We'll get to that. And we push in the neck like this, and you've got a little hole, a little connector underneath. This goes into the peg on top of here. Now this is instead of it being like a slider, which is a pain because that was actually easy to do. But this one is not as easy. So I remember when I got this new from the box back in, I think it was 2013, I really struggled because it was actually quite tight, but then again it was 2013, wasn't quite as strong as I was now, although I'm beginning to think now I'd still have difficulties with it if it remained that tight. Again, which is why I'm glad that the Japanese version exists. And now for the arms with the shark. What we do here is we split the back tail in half, and we bring them each side down onto the side. And again, I must say they've done the paint up in here quite nice. Again, this is how it exactly was on the Japanese version. Clip that in there. And for the Phoenix, what we do here, move the wings down into place like this, and then clip on. And of course, for the Megazord head, we get the sword here. We open it up. Take the head out, close the sword up. This is the Megazord sword. There's a massive, big, awkward hole in there. Like I said, it's obviously not meant to be like this. It looks like a header port, but really and truly, it is impossible to fit any other header that isn't this into this port. So a bit misleading there, but alright. In fact, if I put the sword in there, it's just gonna look terrible. It's not okay, but okay. Megazord head's been painted up fine too. Silver and gold have been done nice, metallic. The wings have been kept nice, although they don't move like on the Japanese version. So you just, the bottom's not looking too good. Like they didn't paint over any of the inside bits, but again, it doesn't really matter because when it's on top of this head port, you're not going to see it. And waboom! Gosei great. What do I think of this Megazord? The gold and the silver paint applications, they don't make too much sense because in Megaforce, the context is actually pretty it's not there. Originally it was like a angel theme. I think they used to cover the angels in like, no, not literally, but like they used to be related to the colours gold and silver. And with that context thrown out the window, this Megazord makes next to no sense. I mean, at the time, Sublime was just lucky that the Zords are animals, and there's no direct angel theme. They could all ignore it and just say, "Oh, it's just gold. It's just a color." It's nothing related to any of that. Even though that if you watch Megaforce at certain points, you can see that they did leave some of the angel wing, the CGI angel wings on for some of the finishers. I think I remember seeing a finisher where Gosei Red, Mega Red, got some angel wings as he was flying through the air, so they left that in. They also left some of the instances of the falling feathers on screen effect, which they weren't supposed to leave in because that's also to do with angels. So without any context, this scene makes no sense. I mean, they were just lucky. They were able. This Megazord was just animals, and they could just call it off as just being generic. But again, if it had some kind of other, like, telltale angel theme, they wouldn't have gone for it. Even though, again, the wings on the head should be a bit of a giveaway. Although they can just say, "Oh, Captain America's got wings on his helmet, and they're generic." So I suppose that was their argument in the design team that day. So yeah, now I'm going to move on to, because I've got some time left, I'm going to move on to the Sky Brothers, the individual Brothers Zords. First set is the Sky Brothers. Now, one thing I will point out about these additional Brothers Zords is that they would, in Japan, they were just sold by themselves, but in America, they sold them with these really, really weird Zord vehicles. And the reason they did that is because one of the components needed to make the Hyper Gosei Great, or Ultra Gosei Great, as it was called in America, they would need an additional component called Datas. Datas was like this small miniature Daiso card machine, which was like an arcade game that they didn't have in America. Like an arcade game machine that turned into like a little robot companion. And then he would have his own Megazord form called Datus Hyper, and then Datus Hyper could go onto the back of Gosei Great, and all the other headers would be able to attach onto him. Now, because they didn't have Datus Hyper, and they needed him, well, they basically that's where the weird Zord vehicles for these guys come in, because they just use that as a replacement of Datus, which is a bit odd, considering that had they just found a clever way to adapt Datus, they would have just been able to adapt him and had done with the... I mean, considering that they didn't care about the Angels theme, they could have left a bit about the Daiso card machine in and just said, oh, it's like a communication device that the Rangers can use. Because technically that was true, because when I watched Gosei, I do remember it being... Datus being like a vessel for the Goseigers to talk to Master Head, otherwise known as the Japanese version of Gosei. Also, Gosei Morpho review coming soon, believe it or not. Don't know how soon, but soon. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. These headers here, or the Sky Brothers headers, we've got the Terror, the Hawk, and the Crow. Again, I'll show off all the this with the blaster. So first off, we have the Terror. Looks a bit pointy actually. You can actually do this, make it face downwards. Same with the Crow here. You can actually make the Crow face downwards, believe it or not. And finally, the Hawk. Hawk looks a bit more serious, actually. So now we will have a look at each individual header. The Terror header's got some nice gold on the beak. I think they added these wheels. I think they went there on the Japanese version. Yeah, there should be some paint here because there's obviously some molded detail on the white part, and that needs painting. And then the Crow header, they at the time, Bandai was just lucky that this header was white to begin with. I think there was a couple of bits of paint here and there that they needed to do, but most of it was white regardless. There's actually a lot of silver on this. It's also done all the way around, like on the Phoenix. It's not painted up half and just, there you go, enjoy your paint. It's all done nice. And then the Hawk header, of course, It's all red. The paint's been done nice on the white and the green eyes as well. One thing I will say is that when you split this open for the Megazord, the hook moulding on the inside, this is meant to be painted in the same way as the outer, and they didn't do this. Again, to save paint probably, but they still painted the beak up white because it would look wrong if it was closed up. Anyway, the Sky Brothers can be used with Gosei Great, which we will do the Sky Gosei Great Megazord combination now. So what we do, actually might want to move this up a bit more. We take the Terra header, attach it onto this port here, and move it down so it's facing out. Take the Crow header, do the same, move out. Take the regular head off, and in its place, attach the Hawk, because there's another head on the underside. Open this, attach, and we have Sky Gosei Great. This design, yeah, it's obviously designed with like a finishing move in mind, because if you think about it, you can point both of these up, close this, and if you do that, there's a trio of birds coming for you. So this is obviously designed with a finisher in mind. The Megazord head reminds me of like a pilot design almost, although I really do not understand the 3 circles on top of it. They did include the Sky logo, or the Sky logo, on top, which is nice detail. And now we have the Sea Brothers. I was about to say Seek, but no, this is the Sea Brothers. Hammerhead, Manta, and Saw Shark. Of course, one of the things I will point out now is that the Sword Shark does have like a special feature where you can spin the sword blades here. But the important thing is, this little molded detail right here, this is meant to be like a little crank you can spin that spins these sword blades via a cog. And also, if you have a look at the other ones, like here's the Rhino from the Landic Brothers, you can see that Land Brothers, sorry. There's like a little molded wheel that if you were to spin, it would have spun this drill. So quite a lot of details are missed out from these little Brothers sets. But again, we will have a look at the Manta head first. Not Manta, this is Hammerhead. It looks quite robotic, I'll give it that. I want to say a bit more robotic than the other ones actually, because it looks like it was made up more out of metal. For some reason this piece keeps wanting to pop off. It's gold underneath. Don't ask why. Yeah, nice. There wasn't much paint on this to begin with, I don't think, but we now have the Manta header. Now, for some reason, the Manta head sides move up. This is weird articulation because you don't need to do that for any combinations. Look, here's a little head underneath. It's got like pirate and seam. Plus, you don't need it to, maybe it's so it can fit on its little Zord vehicle bike thing. It's got red eyes, so it's evil, not really. Of course, you have the aforementioned Soul Shark, which is the blimmin' longest header. It's done up in gold, which is good too, it's nice. Again, it would be great if these mouths could open, but they don't, unfortunately. And now we can combine these with Gosei Great to form C Gosei Great. Which we can do if we move this up here. First off, we move the wings back and drop the arms forward. He says that the sword dropping out, doesn't matter. Take the shark and the phoenix headers off, and then attach them to these 2 ports here. So phoenix goes on top of the tiger, shark goes on top of the snake, and I think sword shark header goes on phoenix here, and the hammerhead goes on shark. And of course Manta goes on top as like a head. This is Sea Gosei Great. It's got a pirate look to the head. The Soul Shark as a sword, that works. Unlike Cosmic Fury, and I've just realised I haven't shown off what these look like on the Mega Blaster yet. Failure. Just gonna move you out of the way and show this off real quick. Hammerhead header. Manta header. Is this what this is meant to be used for? I don't know. And finally, Sawshark header. Now the thing with a Sawshark header is, I thought, had they probably thought of this beforehand, they probably could have used this as like a sword weapon as well as a gun, because it looks kind of like a sword too, doesn't it? Interesting. Okay, now we will show off the Land Brothers. The Dino header, Rhino header, and the Stag Beetle header. I must say that out of all of them, these ones have managed to retain some kind of action features the most. Because Dino opens his mouth and there's like a little non-firing rocket inside. And of course, this can open its claws, but that's required for transformation. So this one shouldn't really count. This one does, the Dino header. Biggest flipping wheels on the planet Earth. Again, they've done the paint up nice with the red, and yeah, this is meant to be like a button that opens the mouth, but no, we've got to do that manually now apparently. Dino head on the blaster. This looks more like a rocket gun now, if you think about it, because that's a rocket inside there. And then the Rhino header. Again, it's got like these excavator tracks as well as the little drill on the front. That was meant to spin when you spin this wheel, but the wheel's moulded. The yellow colour's nice on the blaster. It's more like a power drill now, kind of. And lastly, we have the Stag Beetle header with the opening claws. I think they've actually kept up the paint a lot, but I don't know. I don't have any other versions to compare it to. They kept the green here, which is interesting. Maybe they were really stuck for paint. I don't know. These wheels do roll, although they are connected, so they don't roll individually. They roll like when you spin the bottom. These two, they will move together. And of course, the little head underneath, Landic symbol, and the gold that we will use now when combining this with Gosei Great to form Landic Gosei Great. And the first thing we've got to do, just for the sake of convenience, remove the Shark and the Phoenix headers from this position. And move up the Tiger and the Snake headers, because this is where the Rhino and the Dino headers are going to go. And then we move this up here, reattach Shark and Phoenix, and then the Stag Beetle, open the little sides there, claws. And this is Land Gosei Great. What do I think of this? I think it looks okay. Again, it's got another finisher in mind, because they obviously put the Rhino here for a reason, because the finisher is when you move this down, it becomes like a drill for like a rider kick-esque move where you do a flying drill kick. So they were probably thinking of Kamen Rider when they designed this, probably, because I don't know if you're familiar with Kamen Rider, but if you've seen Kamen Rider Kiver, which is the funny bat one, you'll know that where if every time he wants to do his rider kick in his base form, he will unlock the chains on the same leg that will allow him to do a rider kick. I'm also pretty sure rider kicks are normally done with the same kind of feet. Now, rider kicks are normally done with the right foot, so this has definitely got to be a Kamen Rider reference in design. Because I think that the finisher card design for this particular finisher also resembles a rider kick too. Just have a look on a Ranger Wiki, because I'm too lazy to put a JPEG here. Right, so that'll do it for this video. Very interesting design. One thing I will say to finish it off is that due to how awkward, last time I tried to assemble Hyper Gosei Great, Ultra Gosei Great, it was very bloody awkward, so for that reason, I'm going to skip that combination on this video because A, it's awkward to put together, and B, I can't remember for the life of me what headers go where. I need to figure that out. I need to find the specific card artwork from my deck, and I don't even know where my actual deck is, which is going to be a problem when it comes to reviewing this guy. I think I know where it is, but God, I'm not going to try to go looking for it now because goodness gracious, this video's going for how long? I don't know. Camera's got 17% battery, and it also is really hot, like a volcano.